Hey everybody, I'm Craig Caudill. I'm the director of Nature Reliance School and a good friend and ambassador of LT Wright Knives. Been a pleasure to be friends with those guys for quite some time now. What I thought I'd do today is build us a Bushcraft mallet. This is one that's finished. This is one that's not finished. This is one that's been put on a lathe. But we're going to do all this with LT Wright knives and one silky big boy. We'll see where it takes us. So to do the project we're going to do, I would love to utilize a fro and a draw knife. However, I want to use LT Wright knives to make this happen. So let's go down the line of what I'm not going to use and some of the things I'm going to use. First off, these are the Chamonix that I designed. This is the A2 with flat grind. This is the ABL with saber. These knives are basically extensions of me, and I would love to use them, but I like challenging myself, so I'm going to use something new to me. This right here is the LT Wright Genesis. I got this knife. It's one of the first Genesis that came out. I absolutely love this thing. As you can tell, it's got a lot of use on it. As you can see from, it's just got a lot of use on it. Here's what this knife actually looks like when it's new, or relatively new. Great knives. I would love to use these knives, the Genesis, because this is an extension of me as well. Fantastic for this project, but I just recently picked up from a good friend of mine. This is the GNS in Mountain Finish, 01 steel, I believe. Yeah, 01 steel, I believe. And saber grind, and I haven't used this one, and I like challenging myself and utilizing new tools so I can learn about myself, learn about the tool, learn more about LT Wright knives. So I'm going to use this one primarily for this project. So here's our GNS, and here is a silky big boy. Let's go to the woods and start harvesting stuff. As for sourcing material, I'm a big fan of being a stewardship of the environment. So one of the things I love to do is find trees that have been blown down during a storm, ones particularly that are good species like a dogwood or a hickory or something like that that's really dense wood for hammers. However, this sour wood, which is a medium density wood, works pretty good, so I'm going to utilize it here in this particular situation for us today. All right, so sourwood, take a look at it. This was the base of the tree. This is the upper portion of the tree. So that's where I'm gonna start the handle. So the first part of this is finding out how much mallet head you want. And I like to be about a little bit over a thumb's distance down for the work that I do. So my first step is to scribe it all the way around. You could do this with a knife and it would work okay, but it makes easy work using a saw, that's for sure. So what I'm looking for is I'm going to take the time to go all the way through here, the depth that I want to remove the handle. Now the handle needs to be about as big around as your hand, where your thumb and your index finger meet. So that circle right in the center, everything else has to come off. I like to keep the center of the stem in the handle, but I'll use just a piece of burnt, charred wood from a fire to give me a good starting point on what I want to utilize as the handle. So I'll then lay my saw down, see the depth, and know that I need to go about 1/4 of an inch from the top into my stem all the way around at the thickest point of my saw. That saw is dull as a dog biscuit, and I don't have time to sharpen it, so I'm going to use another one. This is the Gone Boy. So now I'm going to use a hammer that I already have. Use this dogwood. I'm going to lay that GNS up there. And because it's a knife, I'm going to take off small slivers all the way around this guy. Usually what I'll do is I'll do a flat and then I'll do an angle and just take off the angles. So you'll notice that it's much thinner down here than it is down near the hammerhead, the mallet head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in here about halfway and cut some more of these corners off, and then we'll go from there. So you'll notice that where I cut with a saw, I'm already down to all those portions. So I'm going to cut a little bit more. You can see how it's real thick right here. I'm going to cut a little bit more in here to get that off, and then work my way around on some of these other spots. Now this is where an axe should more than likely be utilized, but I'm going to use the GNS because I'm committed to this thing. It's doing a fantastic job here, but I'm going to use it as a chopper. So this is sort of dangerous, so you want to make sure that you are you've done this before. You've got everybody around you cleared away, because I'm basically holding on to the knife rather lightly and just chopping here. Now, the way to do this is to make stop cuts. So stop cuts, let's say I'm going to take this section, I'm going to remove this from here to about right here. I start at the bottom and I make cuts up. Now I can use this to then remove that, which makes it really easy. So basically you just make a bunch of stop cuts up and start to rake things away. I think the Genesis would be a little bit heavier blade and will work better, and it's ideal, but I love challenging myself with new tools so I can learn about them. See how that's right there? And put your knife here and just chop that off. So I've got it pretty much right where I need it, okay? But I would like the handle to be a little bit more refined. So that's where I'm going to utilize the GNS just as a scraping tool to get out some of this finer work. And I like to go around and just take off slivers on purpose. You can also make a draw knife. Let me show you how to make a draw knife. Take the blade, stick it in some rather dense wood and drive it in. That's why you got to have a knife made by LT Wright Knives that can handle that kind of stuff. And you can use this as a draw knife. Now let me go over here to another spot and I'll show you how to use it. I'm calling it done. I love tools that are ugly. I don't like them to be pretty because I'm going to use them. This is going to work exceptionally well as a mallet to do small and big tasks. You can make these handles as long as you want them or as short as you want them. Make the head smaller, smaller, smaller. You can make them bigger. But Bushcraft mallet, get a lot of work done. Easy to do with the GNS from LT Wright Knives. Fantastic blade.